Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another video for you. The winner of this month's Patreon poll is a Battle for Azeroth preparation video, so that's what we're doing today. Now, I'm sure this video has been done before, but some news came out that we're getting the pre-patch on the PTRs, so it's pretty timely, I think. I got 19 things total, so let's get into it. Some of them are obvious, and some pretty unconventional, I think, so hopefully I can bring a few new things to the table for you. Keep in mind that a lot of these will actually be removed in the pre-patch, which is pretty close at this point. A lot of people think that they have until the 14th of August for this stuff, since that's when the Battle for Azeroth releases, but the majority of it will be removed in 8.0, which doesn't have a release date yet. But if you compare it to Legion and its pre-patch, it should be around early July, so about 2 months at this point. First is to knock out the Brawlers Guild. If you didn't know, this place is season based, and once patch 8.0 comes, it'll most likely be closed in preparation for the Battle for Azeroth. You can get some pets from this, shirts, an heirloom, and most importantly, a mount called the Brawler's Burly Basilisk. It's pretty easy nowadays as long as you're Entorus geared. There are a couple of tricky fights, but for the most part, you can face roll through it, depending on the class of course. If you end up having trouble with it, I'll have a link to a guide in the description. To start it, you need to get the blood-soaked invitation item, which you can quickly get from the enemies on the Shield's Rest Island in Stormheim. Next, we have some artifact stuff. We will be back to normal weapons for the Battle for Azeroth, and there are some time-sensitive artifact appearances that you should knock out now. First is the Mage Tower appearance. On the Broken Shore, if the Mage Tower building is up and you did your artifact quest chain, you can do these challenging scenarios where, if you're successful, you get some unique appearances for your artifact. These are also easier now that we've been in the Entorus tier for a while, so now's definitely the time. And this is another thing that's going away in 8.0 rather than the actual BfA launch, so the sooner the better. Everything else related to artifact appearances you should be able to get, except for the Mythic plus 15 color. This applies to the Balance of Power appearance. That's that super long quest chain that starts with that Mythic Eye of Ashran. You can do this chain and unlock the appearance at any time you want, but the plus 15 color will be locked out in patch 8.0. And keep in mind that these colors are retroactive, meaning that if you do a plus 15 now and you complete the Balance of Power chain later, you'll still get that plus 15 tint. And the same is true for the Mage Tower colors, so no worries about doing that whole row now. Another mount tip here is that now's also the time to grind out that Infernal mount in the Nighthold. From Mythic Gul'dan, you can get the Fiendish Hellfire Core, and there's a weird story going on with the drop rate of this mount. It has a 5% chance to drop for every member in the raid, so if you have 20 people, there's a 100% chance for one to drop. This is getting changed to a 1% drop no matter what when the Battle for Azeroth launches, so now's the time to knock that out with your guild. I won't say that the Mythic Nighthold is trivial, but in terms of effort put in, definitely you want to do it before the launch. And the same is true for the Mythic Argus mount, which is the Shackled Urzul, but that's no easy feat. I mean, it's easier said than done to say, hey guys, go kill Mythic Argus before Battle for Azeroth. But still, worth mentioning I think. And if you kill Heroic Argus, you get the Ahead of the Curve achievement, and if you kill him on Mythic, you get the Cutting Edge achievement, both of which are no longer obtainable come 8.0, so there's another reason to get in there. For Heroic specifically, you can get the Violet Spellwing mount from a quest starter that drops off of Heroic Argus, and this is no longer obtainable in the Battle for Azeroth as well, so definitely get that now. Lots of reasons to go into this place. Another Mythic raiding thing that you may want to do is knock out the Chosen title. If you don't know, You can get this from the Trial of Valor raid on Mythic difficulty without losing the Test of the Chosen buff, basically meaning you can't die once in the 3-boss raid. It's okay if anyone else in your raid dies, you just have to live. And if you're successful, you'll also net the Chosen achievement. All of this will be gone in 8.0 though, so if you want it, you should knock it out as soon as you can. And speaking of titles, we also have the Field Medic. First Aid as a whole is being removed in patch 8.0. It's sad, but true. Press X to pay your respects. So, in general, if you're a completionist, you should get any achievement related to First Aid, as they'll be moved to the Feats of Strength, I think. One of them in particular gives you the Field Medic title. In your adventures in the Broken Isles, you may have looted these First Aid items. They give you a quest, and you have to go find some injured NPCs and stabilize them using First Aid items. There are 16 in total, and if you complete all of them, you get the achievement and the title. It is quite the grind, and there are certain spots that are better than others. For the sake of saving time here though, I'll have a link to a handy guide in the description that goes over all of that on what mobs to farm for which item. And also make sure that you take a look in your group finder as well, because there do exist some farming groups for these, which greatly speeds things up. Although it's still pretty slow. This is another 8.0 thing, but you should have plenty of time if you're watching this video at its release. Let's go over some PvP stuff. 8.0 will also make the Elite 7.3 armor sets no longer obtainable. These are recolors of the Mythic and Taurus sets, so if you enjoyed these particular tints, you might want to go for them. To get them, you need to get a rating of 2000 in rated PvP, which is 2 vs 2 or 3 vs 3 arena, or rated battlegrounds. Ashran is also getting removed in patch 8.0, so if you want any achievements with that, you should knock those out now. There's also a reputation tied to it called Vol'jin's Spear for the Horde, and Rin's Vanguard for the Alliance. You should be able to still farm these after it's removed via the Medallion of the Legion, which gives you reputation for a bunch of Draenor reps including these, but a big source will be removed in 8.0, so it's a bit easier if you grind that out now. The Strand of the Ancients battleground is also being removed, so for the 7 people out there who enjoy this place, you better get your games in now and get any achievements related to it. It'll be another 8.0 removal, so again, press X to pay your respects. The battle for Azeroth also adds a bunch of new vicious mounts to go along with the new allied races, so something you may want to do now is to save any saddle you get if you want to be one of the first ones to get these new mounts when they're added. You get these saddles from winning 100 arena battles or 40 rated battlegrounds per season. I'll show you the possible candidates here. You have the Vicious War River Beast for the Alliance, it looks like, and the War Clefthoof for the Horde. You also have the Dark Hound, which is possibly Alliance, although it's not confirmed. And you also have a Basilisk for both sides, so if you prefer these over any of the current ones, hold on to a saddle for when they get released. Something else mount related is in preparation. You should grab a water strider mount if you're playing a class that doesn't have water walking. Off the top of my head, that's anyone but Death Knights or Shamans, right? Why? Well, there's a ton of water in the new zones we'll be leveling in, and just like in Legion, we won't have flying at first, so to save yourself a headache with traversing Kul Tiras or Zandalar, make sure you pick up a water strider mount. There are 2 different ones, and the easiest one is from the Anglers, which is a faction located right here in the Crasserang Wilds in Pandaria. You can do some dailies here to grind out reputation until you're exalted, at which point you can buy the mount. And another way is to just grind those reputation tokens from Pandaria timewalking, which is way less effort in my opinion. And something kind of minor but still handy I think, is to pick up the repurposed Fel Focuser. This is the infinite use flask, and this will be something handy in general for the first few weeks of BfA. You can pop this while leveling, and even at 120, since I imagine the latest flasks will be ridiculously priced for a while. So this can be a cheaper alternative to give you a minor stat boost. Hey, it's better than nothing, and it's super easy to get. You just need Revered with the armies of the Legionfall faction on the Broken Shore, and it costs just 7,500 nether shards from the War Mage Kathleen vendor found in the Deliverance Point hub. You can get that in a few of those Legion invasions that pop up every now and then. And speaking of which, if you don't know, these are great for leveling your alts from 98 to 110. You can get all the way there with these alone, and it's probably the most efficient way to level in terms of time spent. But if you've leveled alts with these, you'd know that soloing them can be pretty tough. Especially those boss mobs. You pretty much have to use the group finder, or wait for other people to show up. Well, when the Battle for Azeroth launches, there's going to be way fewer people in the Broken Isles in general, so you're better off leveling any alts through these invasions now, while everyone is still doing them. And another thing that'll be harder come Battle for Azeroth is the fishing stuff. Throughout the Broken Isles, you can find these NPCs that you can grind reputation for, and you get various toys and a mount even. You got Conjurer Margas outside of Dalaran, Keeper Renee in Val'sharah, Akule Riverhorn in High Mountain, and etc. A trick you can do to farm these reputations faster is to group up for them. You can find groups in your group finder, just like the invasions, and it really speeds it up. So it's the same mindset here, just like with the invasions, far fewer people will be doing this stuff come the expansion, so if you want to be as efficient as possible, you should work on these now. This video is getting a little long, so if this is all new to you and you don't know where to start, I'll just have a link to a Wowhead guide on how all of that works in the description to start you off. And another thing that'll be harder is all of the Underbelly stuff. In the sewers of Dalaran, you can do some PvE and PvP, and as a reward, you get a currency called Sightless Eyes, which you can use to buy patterns, pets, and if you get 20,000 of them total, you'll get an achievement that gives you the Rat Stallion mount. PvPing is the fastest method of getting these eyes, so that's another thing you want to knock out now while there's still people playing the expansion. Occasionally, you can find farming groups in your group finder, and if you want to see a full list of rewards, I'll have another link in the description for you. Alright, sort of winding down here, something else you should probably do is dump all of your trade materials if you've been hanging on to them. When new expansions roll around, all of the trade goods from the previous expansions usually crash since, well, no one needs them anymore. Especially now since the professions are going to be split up by expansions in 8.0, so there's no need to grind profession skill points from the previous expansion to get to the next one. I'm sure a lot of you use that deposit reagents button for your bank, so when you get the time, go through your stock and sell them before they crash. The same may also be true for your Bloods of Sargeras, depending on your profession. I know you can make some good stuff with these, including a mount even, but if you don't have access to that, you may want to trade them in for trade materials from this vendor in Dalaran. If they treat the order halls like they did with the garrisons in Draenor, they'll be removing those gold missions, so you won't have much use for them for those resource caches for too much longer. And the last thing I wanted to mention here is if you're a mount collector, you should start stocking up on timewalking badges. And that's because for every new expansion, we get another expansion in the timewalking, so when the Battle for Azeroth launches, we should get Draenor timewalking, and if it follows the scheme with the other timewalking events, there should be a mount associated with it. So you can prepare for that now by making sure that you have some badges stocked up so you can buy it right away. It should be 5,000 badges total. Alright, that's about it I guess. I think that's most, if not all of the important things, at least from everything we know so far. some of the major, some of the minor, and it's all dependent on your preferences and what you really care about, so pick and choose what you want. That's the thing about being an adult, is you don't have to do anything. In fact, I'm not even wearing any pants right now, so I'm gonna sign off here and take care of that. I hope you found the video helpful or entertaining. Like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.